What if that relentless search for freedom, what if it's actually a really sophisticated escape from yourself? All right, welcome to our Shadow to Freedom series. So yeah, let's just dive right into that question because it's at the very heart of what we're going to talk about today. This idea that the constant chase for freedom, moving to a new city, getting a new job, always looking for that next big thing, what if it isn't actually a move towards something better? We're going to explore how some of our biggest goals, the things we chase after the most, might actually be a really clever way to avoid looking at what's really driving us from deep down. Okay, so to really get this, we have to talk about a key idea from psychology, the shadow. Now, the famous psychoanalyst Carl Jung, he's the one who came up with this. And basically, the shadow is everything we've pushed away. All those parts of ourselves we learned to hide, or reject, or just flat out deny, usually when we were kids, because showing those parts felt, unsafe, like it threatened our place in the family or with our friends.
So, how does this shadow even get created in the first place? Well, Dr. Gabor Mate has a great way of explaining it. He says it's this clash between two of our most basic needs. On one hand, you've got attachment. That's our need to connect, to feel safe with people. And on the other, you've got authenticity, our need to just be ourselves. Now, imagine you're a little kid. If being your authentic self, being loud or angry or super silly, if that seems to threaten your connection to your parents, you're gonna choose connection. Every single time. You'll shut down that authentic part of you to stay safe. And honestly, it's a brilliant survival strategy.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just the bad parts we hide. No way. Sometimes we hide our greatest strengths, our most powerful talents. And this is what's known as the golden shadow. So let's make this real. Let's talk about an archetype we'll call Omar. He's the Perpetual Traveler. This is the guy who's living the life a lot of people dream about, right? He's always on the move, chasing the next horizon, always chasing freedom. But here's the thing. Underneath all that adventure, there's this quiet, nagging pressure that he just can't shake, and he can't even put a name to it. You see, what Omar is really running from, it's not a lack of freedom. He's actually running from his own gold. That pressure he feels, that's his own potential that he's pushed away. Maybe it's this incredible talent for leadership, or this huge creative spark that just feels too big. It feels like it would totally disrupt his identity as this free, wandering spirit. And like the author, Robert A. Johnson said, owning that gold, man, that can be absolutely terrifying. And you might be asking, why on earth would we do that? Why hide the best parts of ourselves? Well, think about it. Owning your gold, that comes with responsibility, right? It might mean you have to change your whole life. It might make you stand out from your family or your friends. And for a lot of us, when we were kids, we got the message loud and clear. Being too much, being too different, that just wasn't safe.
All right, let's look at another example to see how this plays out. This is a different kind of shadow pattern, and it has a fantastic name. It's called the loyal soldier. Think of it like this. It's an old survival program in your head that's still fighting a war that ended a long, long time ago.
Okay, picture this. A really talented freelancer. They are right there on the edge of a huge success, a project that could change absolutely everything for them. And then, just as they're about to close the deal, they miss a key deadline, or they completely bomb the final meeting. On the surface, it just looks like self-sabotage, right? But what if, on a much deeper level, they're just staying loyal to a family story, a story of scarcity and constant struggle?
That right there is the loyal soldier in action. It's this part of our personality that we built as a kid to keep us safe, to make sure we belonged. And back then, that part was a genius. It did its job perfectly. But here's the problem. It doesn't have an off switch. It just keeps running that same old protective program, even when that program is now totally wrecking our adult lives.
And you can see the huge disconnect here. What was a brilliant strategy for a kid, like if I stay small and quiet, I stay safe, becomes this outdated program in an adult that's just a fear of being seen. Or how about this one? When I ask for what I need, people get angry. That turns into an adult who literally can't ask for a fair salary. And this is a big one. Struggling together is how we stay close. That can become this deep, unconscious belief that if you actually succeed, you'll be all alone, that you'll be abandoned by your tribe.
So, we've got these hidden programs running in the background, but how do we even find them? I mean, you can't think your way out of a pattern you don't even know you're in, right? The key, it's not in your head, it's in your body.
Your body is your unconscious mind. It doesn't argue, it doesn't debate, it just feels. And it can't tell the difference between a real threat happening right now and one you're just remembering or imagining.
So this is where those old orders from the loyal soldier are still being felt, not as thoughts, but as actual physical sensations.
And there's actually a physical pathway for this. It's called the vagus nerve. Just think of it like your body's internal surveillance system. It's this superhighway of information that's constantly sending signals from your gut and your organs straight up to your brain, telling it we're safe or we're in danger, and it does this way before your thinking brain has even had a chance to catch up.
Okay, let's actually try a quick little exercise so you can feel this for yourself. Just bring to mind a choice you're dealing with right now. Maybe something you feel a bit stuck on. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. Ready? Okay. First, for just a second, imagine taking the bold path. The one that feels expansive, maybe even a little scary. Got it? Now, switch gears and imagine taking the safe path, the one that keeps everything the same. We'll call that the loyal path.
All right, when you thought about that bold, expansive path, what did you actually feel in your body? Did you notice a kind of lightness, maybe a little bit of space opening up in your chest? That sensation, that is your authentic self giving you a yes. That's what alignment feels like.
And now, what about that safe, loyal path? What came up then? For a lot of us, it's a subtle contraction, a little tightening in the throat, maybe a knot in the stomach, or a heaviness in your chest. That feeling right there, that is the shadow's no. That's the loyal soldier yelling, "Warning! Danger! This is not how we stay safe." So what do we do with this? We can feel it now, but then what? Well, this is the crucial part. This is where we learn to stop being run by these old programs and start, instead, to stand in our own power. The most important thing to remember is this. That tightening feeling, that knot in your gut, it's not a command. It's not a red light. It is just information. It's an echo. It's a message from a very old, very loyal part of you that is still doing its job, still trying to protect a small, vulnerable child. A child who, by the way, no longer exists. You are the adult now.
And this brings us right back to where we started. The mind architect Peter Crone puts it perfectly. He says real freedom, it isn't found by escaping outwards. It's not about adding more stuff, more travel, more experiences. It's a process of subtraction. It's an unbecoming. It's about letting go of all the armor, all the strategies, all the pieces of the false self you had to build just to survive.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you find yourself at one of those crossroads, in those moments of choice, are you standing in the power of the adult you are right now? Or are you still, without even realizing it, obeying the orders of a loyal soldier whose war ended a long, long time ago?
You know, this work of uncovering who we really are, it's definitely a journey. If any of this resonated with you, we'd love for you to explore these ideas more with us. You can join the conversation over at the Bamboo Nomads community. Thanks so much for being here.